How are you?
Good. How was your trip? I'll use that as one question today.
It was a lot of fun. I think Austin office is looking amazing. It's so weird. It's like going back to your high school a couple of years later. You don't know any of the people. It seems like their subjects are much tougher now. It was very cool. They've got a great thing going on there.
So, I'd like to ask questions about how it is there now that Eric is not there. Is there anybody that solidifies the team? But I'm not sure if that's an appropriate question.
Well, I'll tell you. Every single person I talked to a man, told me that the person who solidifies the team in Austin is their office manager, Nanetta.
Okay.
The first conversation I had was with Ryan Archer, who's kind of been my lone employee out there for the past 6 months or so. He's a marketing artist, and he kept mentioning Nanetta when I was talking to him. I was like, wow, does he have a crush on her or something? And then I noticed it was every single person I talked to. So they've got a heck of an office manager.
Well, they are usually the people that bring things together. Do you have somebody like that there in Santa Monica?
Well, we've got Chris Roberts. We do have a fantastic office manager here.
Okay.
Her name's Cherry, and she goes above and beyond for us, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So the last time we were talking about a couple of things, about the immersion factor, the dynamic campaign, and all that effort you put into Squadron 42. And I brought up that old manual that I had from Wing Commander and Wing Commander 2, which I actually found my Wing Commander 2 manual, which is cool.
It's not as good.
No, it's not. No, the claw marks was epic. It was cool. So remember the question from last week that nobody was able to hear, which was, can we expect that same type of immersion factor to be put forth not just into Squadron 42, but Star Citizen Persistent Universe?
Oh yeah, and then the answer is yes. From day one, we wanted to bring you into the universe. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers this far back, but the first thing to draw people into the universe was our timeline that counted down from current present day to the events of Star Citizen. So we've been trying to draw you into the world the whole time. That's part of the point of the Voyager Direct store, a lot of the in-universe content. And in fact, since last week, over the weekend, we had our little Aurora crisis where we...
Good job bringing that one up.
Yeah, we had to... we shipped a patch that managed to break the heat on, I think, 3 of the 5 Aurora models.
Curses.
So but the great thing about Star Citizen at this point is that when we break a ship, we've constructed so much of the inner workings of the ship that it breaks in a way that, that's how it would break in the world if you did something stupid to it. So we managed to do like an in-universe Aurora recall, and then we did a receipt once they were available to be fixed, once they were fixed. We were having a lot of fun with that kind of thing.
Okay. I was intrigued to see the questions that people were asking Tony and Chris. Who else was on stage with them? Tony, Chris, that was a town hall meeting. The
yes.
Keynote.
Let's see. Mark Skeleton was in one of the panels, but he wasn't in the keynote.
Yeah.
It may have been Jason Hutchins.
Okay. So they asked about all these pieces that they're building into the game, like the cinematic cameras and the ability to make it machinima. I never know how to pronounce that, and I'm sure people are going to try to correct me. But they were talking machinima, and they were talking about how you could produce your own TV shows and movies from within the game. My question here is, we're going to be getting this rich, full, dynamic, this branching campaign that's going to be part of the Squadron 42. Are we going to be able to see little miniature versions of that for different professions or different pieces of Star Citizen 2?
Yes, absolutely we are. One thing we want to do going forward is release, individual campaigns. There's this crisis, you have to go do this. But it also works both ways. We want to, in Squadron 42, kind of let you test out all of the PU mechanics. So it's not just going to be, you fly a mission and that's it. You fly a combat mission, combat mission, combat mission. There's going to be missions in Squadron 42 where it's like, you have to go mine an asteroid. You have to go explore a planet. Just introducing the ways you do things in the Persistent Universe in Squadron 42. They share the same DNA.
Okay. And what the question I was asking is, like, you had that, and I know that Freelancer was done after Chris was gone already, right? I mean, he had...
Yeah, I think he was on for the first 3 years of the project. They spent about another 18 months on it after he left.
Okay.
So a lot of it didn't quite live up to.
Oh, really? It's 10 years later. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, my question there is, you had this campaign that was built in, and if you think of yourself as being a privateer, let's go back to that old franchise, and there was even a rich storyline in that. Are we going to see those type of storylines? And your answer was yes, and I'm very happy about that.
Yep, and I think they're going to be. It's not going to be just one through line like Privateer or Freelancer had. I think it's going to be much more smaller quest cycles, I guess you could call them. But we do want to continue having narrative going forward, and we want that narrative to respond to backers. So, we talk a lot about how UEE is falling apart. There are all these outside and inside enemies. We want to see where that goes, and we will match the narrative to player actions.
Okay, so right now we know about a few alien races. We know about the Vandal, of course, and that their portrayal in the commercial was just epic, if they're that stupid in reality. We know about the Taverans, we know about the Xians, and we know about the Banu. Do you think that CIG is going to be looking for some non-bipedal races in the future? This is what one of the backers are looking for. Like, do you remember what BioWare's Star Wars: The Old Republic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The answer is that we would like to populate the universe with non-bipedal races. Absolutely. Yeah, we and in fact we are already to a degree. Less sentient races on planets. Here's a weird rolling space whale. Here's all sorts of things like that. Actual non-bipedal player races are very, very difficult because everything has to fit into our same universe. In fact, at lunch today, I was listening to a conversation with Steve Bender and Lance, our art guy here, about how we have to go back and look at the armrests on all of our chairs because marine armor doesn't fit in it. So there's a lot to take into account. So developing the game in such a way that, you could also be a gelatinous blob, a little harder. I wouldn't say never, but expect humanoid.
Hey, what's up? I wish I was recording this in video because James Pugh just came by and said hello. That brings up, how sometimes I throw some side questions because of something you said. That's a good interviewer, right? So when I just did a review of the Aurora Legionnaire, the LN, in universe. Like, I picked a lot of things that I got from David, from talking to him, from you talking to you, and I made up my own story about it. But when I was looking at it, I started to think about you being fully decked out in combat armor, trying to squeeze into the Aurora's seat. Are those things that are going to be looked at again later? And that seems to be something that you're saying yes.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Okay. I think
it's necessary.
I think the Aurora seat's going to need to spin around at this point.
That is different because right now the animated character has to squeeze by to get into it, which we'd like for the feel of the Aurora. But as we get more body types, more outfits, it becomes less reasonable. So, it's something we have to continue to look at.
All right. So this one goes to character creation. And this is just something that was floating around a couple of the forums, and one of them was in the den. I won't say which one of the threads it was. Character creation. At this particular point, it looks like there's going to be a massive amount of things that you could do to create a character. Will you be able to have a character where the other gender's clothes? Will you be able to have a character fat, a character really short, a character, these odd sizes? Because I think they're doing this because in Star Wars, the online, the new one, they let you be like a fat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, we have not determined the extremes yet, but we're pushing for it.
Okay. Now that was a simple answer, right? Because people have asked that. Next question has to do with LTI. These are our favorite questions, are they not, Ben?
Oh yeah, I love talking about LTI.
All right, so this is kind of an LTI and insurance question thrown into a pot and mixed up. So I'm taking two questions and throwing them into one. First and foremost, how is regular insurance going to work? Is it going to be 6 months of playtime or 6 months of real time? you've answered that question on this show before, so I'm going to let you do that one real quick. And the second piece is, do you foresee there ever being an opportunity in the future to buy LTI on a ship that you bought as an add-on?
Well, the answer to the second question is no, I don't foresee us doing that.
Thank you.
Just for the concept sales, the new ships.
Right.
I guess it's possible if we introduce, like, if we skip a run of the ship release process, so we for some reason don't do a concept sale, we might do LTI at the hangar ready phase, but I'm guessing that's not going to happen. As for insurance, the thinking is it's of time played the game. So you're counting down your time while you're in the game world. It's not counting down when you're idle.
Okay, so it's 6 months of game play.
Yeah.
Not so if I'm not logged in, is time passing on that insurance?
No, that's the idea right now. That could change completely, but that is how we're thinking about it right now.
Great disclaimer. That's right. That's where we're at right now. Second piece is, and it's just this person wanted me to add in, it's not the people. He's saying he's not asking this as a purchaser of an Aurora because evidently this person has 30 Auroras. We've met people like that together.
Oh, yeah.
It's because he's bought some of the ships that are much bigger than that. But from what I see, most of the ships that have been much bigger than that all came with LTI at the time of purchase. Mm-hmm. You know, like the Javelin and the, right? Am I correct on that?
Anything that big would have come with LTI.
All right, cool. So that's just to quell them. All right, so, oh God, where did I throw that last question? I guess we asked every single question, and I'm going to hold more for next week. Will you be able to spend some time with me next Friday when I'm there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'll be in Santa Monica next week and hopefully be able to grab Ben and have James or somebody shoot us and do a, person-to-person 5 for Ben Lesnick. So if you want to get those questions in, we have a new email address for that, and just send it to batgirl@starcitizenaa.com. And Ben, thank you for joining me, and welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good to be home.
All right, and I'll talk to you soon.